Hi, Isabel Litzler, Pleiad HC, the place to be to develop your skills and grow your potential. So today I want to address a question I get quite often, which is how do I go about finding headhunters or agencies for my profile? How do I target them? So I want to give you 5 tips today on how to target agencies and headhunters. So the first tip is actually to understand your profile. What skills do you have? Which market is best suited for you? Therefore, you can find out which agencies are specialized in that field or that market. But it takes a little bit of time, especially if you're non-typical profile, meaning you've had a lot of jobs, but you don't really know what you can do next. And unfortunately, it's not the job that the agency will spend a lot of time doing, which is really to find out where you'd be best suited. Sometimes they do help you if they have the time, but it's not their main job. So the first thing is that you need to go in there knowing yourself what type of field you're looking for. And that means doing a little bit of a skills assessment first, if you haven't done so, or understanding how your skills fit to the Swiss market first before you target agencies. So just to give you an example, in my method that I have for job seekers, the online search tool that I have in my website, the first thing is really positioning yourself and understanding your profile before you actually go to the market and reaching out to agencies, because it's no use until you know what you're looking for. So once you've done this first step, then you can identify, leading me to step number 2, identify a few agencies that would be interested in you. So don't spread yourself too large, it's not worth it. In Switzerland, it's in the interest of the employer to actually circulate a vacancy with several agencies, because they're not paying anything until they recruit somebody. So they will circulate the job with many agencies and wait until they get the right candidate. So as a job seeker, you don't need to be in every agency in town. You only need to pick 2 or 3 maximum. So how do you go about picking which agency is good? Well, you just need to find out, based on what you're doing, which agency is actually suited. And typically agencies, what I call placement agencies, will work with specialties, I would say from junior to mid managers. If you are a highly technical person, very specialized in your field, or you're an executive, then you might be interesting for headhunters, but that's only very specific. But really understand what your market is and where you're best suited, and then find which agencies would be best suited. Number 3, what you want to do is actually check the jobs online that they have vacancies for, and that gives you a good idea. So for example, if you're in supply chain, and you're looking at their website and you see they actually look for, in general, supply chain individuals, even if it's not suited 100% to you, at least it gives you an idea that they might be the right agency for you. And usually, even if they don't have a vacancy, they would at least reply to you or tell you, we may have more vacancies coming up. They tend to have, candidates on a role where they just have you in their database, so that when they have a need, they actually have candidates. So just make sure that the type of positions they recruit suit your profile. So that's step number 3. Step number 4 is actually try to be introduced. That's always easier to actually get a reply and get a connection with an agency. In general, in Switzerland, agencies tend to be a little bit more social than HR people in companies. So HR people in companies are not exactly the type of people you see in events. They tend to only go to HR only type of events, or they're usually by nature, I say this in many videos, being a professional in human resources for many years myself, we're not the most, in general, we're not the most social people in terms of going to events and being external oriented. So if you look at support positions like finance and HR, those kinds of people tend to be more behind the desk type of people. So they're not the ones that you're going to meet in the different events in town. However, remember, agencies have a marketing aspect to them and a sales aspect to them. So they tend to be a little bit more oriented to go outside and meet individuals. So you can find them a little bit easier on the market. And that gives you an entryway, if you meet them, to have their card, to meet someone in person. And it's easier then to have an entryway and have a face to your name. So that's, in my view, a lot better. And then the last step number 5, is to follow up. So if you send your application, don't hesitate, especially if you have their name and their details, don't hesitate to follow up. I would say wait at least a couple of weeks. And if you don't hear back, follow up, because they tend to be really busy people. they have a sales part of their job, so they need to be out there finding clients, they need to follow up with candidates, they have a lot on their plate. So they may not have you in their mind every day, but you're there, and it's okay for you to follow up and say, where's my application? You know, do you have any news for me? They will appreciate that. That shows you're actually motivated. So again, the answer to the question, should I follow up, is definitely 100% yes. And you will probably get positive, you know, it will give a positive image of you if you're following up. So to summarize, position yourself well, you know, understand your skills, target 2 or 3 agencies maximum, make sure that they recruit the type of profile that you are by checking their website and doing a little bit of research on them, see how they work, if it suits also your personal style. A lot of agencies have different ways of working, so check that it's suited with you, but no need to spread yourself large. Check also to try to meet someone in person by going to events, which I cannot encourage you to do more of. This is the best way, and then don't hesitate to follow up. So I hope this was helpful. I will talk to you soon. Have a great Monday. Thanks.